My name is Nancy Parker. I was born in England and became a nurse in England. And then I came to the United States in 1967 and became a nurse in the United States. So for all these years I've worked as a nurse continuously, and I've worked mostly in the renal department, which is dialysis, and I've done some work in psychiatry, and I've also done some work for the public health department. So these books that I'm reading today all have sort of a medical background. And the one we're going to start with this morning is called Dr. Maisie. And this book is by Lucy Cousins. And it's a nice picture book here. Okay? And it says, "Hello, Dr. Maisie. Hello, Nurse Tallulah. Let's play hospital." Okay. Tallulah listens to Maisie's heartbeat. That tickles. Panda is sick today. Maisie listens to his heartbeat. Thump, thump, thump. See, with the stethoscope. Maisie takes Panda's temperature. Oh no, Panda has a fever. Panda needs to rest. Maisie carries him up the stairs. There they go. Night night, Panda. Get well soon, Tallulah calls. From downstairs, Maisie, Maisie. Maisie runs down the stairs. Careful, not too fast. Crash! Maisie bumps into Tallulah. Ouch! Look. There we go. Tallulah wraps Maisie's nose in a bandage. That's better. Bye-bye, Nurse Tallulah. Bye-bye, Dr. Maisie. The end. This book is called Clara and Davy. It's the true story of a young Clara Barton, founder of the American Red Cross. And this book is by Patricia Palacke. On a cold, blustery morning in North Oxford, Massachusetts, a blizzard was threatening and bearing down hard. It was Christmas Day, 1821. Mama was expecting her 5th child. 10 years had passed since her last baby. Mama's health was fragile. A very special Christmas present was delivered that day. The family gathered around the mother's bed to welcome a new baby girl. The infant was swaddled and placed next to her mother. "I'm calling her Clarissa," Mama whispered weakly, then handed the baby to Dolly, her oldest daughter. Clarissa's other sister, Sally, and her big brother, Stephen, took turns holding her. But it was Davy, the younger brother, who had been long awaiting her arrival. He was so pleased to have a new baby sister. He rocked her in his arms, her tiny fingers wrapped round one of his, and he laughed out loud with the pure joy of it. "That's some grip. I'll bet she'll be breaking horses for Pa before we know it," Davy crowed. "But she looks more like a Clara than a Clarissa," he announced. From that day on, that's what everybody called her, Clara. As the days passed, Mama grew weak from illness. Soon, all of the mothering of that baby was left to Dolly. But Davy adored the little girl, and she worshipped him. Wherever he went, she was always with him. By the next winter, he taught Clara to sit bareback on a horse almost before she could walk. And when she did learn to walk, she hit the ground running. Davy taught Clara to climb trees, chase fireflies, jump deep furrows, and throw clods of earth. She would charge up hills as steep as a cow's face and push through bundles of standing wheat. Davy was always at her side. There they are together. What Clara loved most was when she and Davy would swing together from a giant oak in a field of wildflowers right next to the creek bank. "Hiya, Davy," Clara squealed. "If we go any higher, we'll punch through those clouds and I'll have to break a piece of the moon off for you," Davy laughed. When Clara ran through the wildflowers, she tried to smell each and every one of them. She and Davy always gathered an armful to take back to the house. On their way, they stopped at the barn. Clara helped Davy feed the animals and do the chores. Clara took to nature and animals like a flower does to the sun. She had a special way with critters and found joy in the beauty that sprang from the soil. All these came easy to Clara. But whenever Clara talked, it was a struggle. Her words just didn't come out right. Horse was horth. Snapdragon was snapdragon. There she is swinging in the tree. One day, when Davy was storing kraut in the root cellar, he found Clara in the darkest corner facing the wall. "Clara, why are you down here all by yourself in the dark?" Davy asked as he led her up the stairs to the kitchen. "Dolly put me here. She said I have to stay in the basement," Clara sobbed. As Davy pulled Clara through the kitchen, Dolly looked cross. "You take that child right back down those stairs. She's being punished," Dolly scolded. "For what?" Davy protested. "She doesn't want to talk right. She's lazy. She refuses to pronounce her words properly." Davy hugged Clara. "Come with me. I have something to show you in the barn." There she is in the basement. Clara cried all the way to the barn. "I'm trying real hard to talk right, Davy, but my tongue just won't do what Dolly wants it to," Clara spluttered. Davy led her to one of the mangers. He parted the straw. That's when Clara saw the newborn puppy. She wiped her eyes. "Where's his mama?" "Run away," Davy answered. "But this little puppy is a sickly runt. If somebody doesn't tend to her, she won't live much longer," Davy whispered. "I'll take care of her," Clara promised. "She's as cute as a little button. That's what I'll call her, Button," Clara exclaimed. There they are together with Button. Button flourished under Clara's care. She loved that dog more and more each day. But even with the happiness that Button brought, ridicule of Clara's lisp caused her to withdraw. She grew shy and afraid of most people. Whenever Dolly brought up the subject of Clara going to school, Clara ran and hid in the barn. The more time Clara spent in the barn with Button, the more attached she became to all of the animals. She watched them for hours and studied their ways. She learned everything about them. But it was the sick creatures that got Clara's special attention. She seemed to have healing in her hands. When Clara was helping animals, her heart sang. She felt brave and confident with critters. It didn't matter to the animals how Clara talked. At Dolly's insistence, Clara's worst nightmare came true. She was sent to school, where she was so timid she barely spoke. When she dared to talk, everybody laughed at her. In the schoolyard, the other girls surrounded Clara and mocked her. "Why can't you talk right?" one of them teased. "Sounds like the hiss of a snake," another chimed. "That's snake, not snake," one of them mocked, and they all laughed. Clara picked up a clod of earth and hauled it at them. Then she ran home as fast as she could. Davy found Clara in the barn sobbing. Everybody made fun of me, Davy. Please don't make me go back there ever again, Clara pleaded. Tonight I'll talk to Pa. We can teach you right here at home. Nobody will ever hurt you that way again, Davy reassured her. And there she is, and she's being teased by all the other children in the school. Davy was true to his word. He convinced Pa to let Clara be schooled at home. The whole family helped her. Stephen taught Clara how to figure numbers. Sally and Dolly helped Clara become a fine reader. Davy taught Clara to read maps and give her lessons about nature's wonders. Soon Clara could add, subtract, multiply and divide any combination of numbers. She read just about every book in her Pa's library. She and Davy enjoyed special trips into the village to borrow books about nature and animals from the library. They always made their way home through the woods and the fields filled with wildflowers. Thanks to Davy's lessons, Clara knew all the flowers by name. Davy marveled at his sister's ways. Wild squirrels and sparrows greeted Clara, and no animal feared her. She'd lean over and whisper sweet words to the daisies and asters. If Clara was nearby, they seemed to brighten and stand taller. When gathered together in a nosegay bouquet, Clara called her flowers her tussie-mussies. And there she is with the family, doing all her lessons at home. Winter came, so did the cold. That didn't stop Clara's love of the outdoors. One morning, a group of boys from the schoolhouse knocked on Clara's kitchen door. "We miss you at school, Clara," one of the boys announced. "We ain't never seen anyone throw a clod of earth as far as you can," another added. "And you can run as fast as the wind blows," a third boy chimed in. To Clara, they all seemed to be talking together. "Clara, can you come skating and sledding with us?" Clara tried to answer but wasn't fast enough. Dolly hissed, "It isn't proper. Respectable girls don't go cavorting around the countryside with wild hooligans." Before Dolly could protest any further, Clara was out the door. Davy followed right behind. For the first time in months, Clara was laughing and having fun with other children. When one of the boys twisted his ankle and smacked down on the ice, Clara knew just what to do. She rubbed hard on his bruised skin. "Is it broken?" the boy asked. "No, good as new," Clara answered. Like Davy, the boy saw that Clara had healing hands. They were her best friends from that day on. And there they are, having a great time in the snow. Clara's reputation about her healing hands and her special way with critters spread throughout the countryside. Neighbours called on Clara to treat their farm animals. She started borrowing medical books from the library. It got to be that Clara could deliver foals, treat cows, and mend broken sheep bones. Her green thumb was almost as renowned as her ability to treat and heal living creatures. Every spring, Clara's flower garden was the envy of the village. Around this time, Dolly was struck down by a mysterious illness that confined her to her room. Even though Dolly had been mean to Clara, seeing Clara so sick was like losing her second mother. Dolly's illness made Clara even more determined to study the library's medical books so that she could find cures for all kinds of sicknesses. For fun, Clara still ran through the countryside with the boys from school. Davy was always by Clara, making sure that she was safe from scorn. And there she is, healing the animals with her healing hands. One day, as Clara was returning from treating her neighbour's pigs for hog cholera, she was stunned to see her family's farmhands carrying Davy from the barn. "Clara," old Ben called out. "Davy fell from the highest roof beam in the barn." "He's real bad hurt," one of the other farm hands said breathlessly. Clara could see that both of Davy's legs were broken. "Be careful moving him," Clara said with a steady voice as they made their way into the house. Clara knew exactly what to do. She ordered Davy's bed be brought down to the parlour. She understood that he needed warmth from the stove and light from the window. And this is them carrying poor Davy back into the house. When Doc Reynolds arrived, he examined David. "Who attended this patient?" the doctor asked. "I did," Clara said shyly. "Well, girlie, you did exactly what I would have done," Doc said. The doctor set Davy's bones. When he left that night, Clara could tell by Doc's sad expression that he didn't expect Davy to live. Clara was determined to help Davy heal. Because of her excellent care, Davy made it through the first terrible night. Day after day, month after month, Clara stayed with Davy from the moment the sun rose until it set each night. Clara was always at Davy's side, seeing to his wounds and comforting him. 3 springs came and went as Davy slowly recovered. Clara marked the milestones in his healing. There was the first day he could move his feet again, the day his bones were fully knitted and mended, the day he left his bed and was carried to the chair by the window. But the last hurdle still had to be accomplished. Davy had to try to walk again. And here's Davy in the bed with his family all round him and Clara taking care of him. Every day, Clara urged her brother to stand and take small steps. She sang to David. She read him his favourite books. She always kept fresh nosegay bouquets on the table near him. Each time Davy's bouquet needed to be replenished, Clara walked to the creek bank alone, wondering if David would ever walk beside her again. Sadly, every day was the same. Davy couldn't seem to muster the courage to even try. So there's Clara going to get the flowers for the nosegay for David. One day, Clara took Davy's hands in her own and fell to her knees in front of him. "Davy, I know you can walk. You have always told me that I have a gift of healing. Unless you try to walk, I will never believe that again." Davy reached for Clara. He wouldn't stand. "Davy, if I can't help you walk, I'm useless." Clara ran out of the parlour towards the barn, and there she is pleading with Davy to walk. Clara sobbed alone. Then she saw a shadow standing in the barn doorway. It was Davy, standing with an armful of wildflowers. Davy whispered softly, "I walked to the creek bank and picked those myself on my own 2 legs." Clara blinked. Her eyes wasn't lying. Davy said, "You do have the gift of healing, Clara. It's in your heart and your hands. Thank you for my life." Davy took careful steps towards his little sister. They hugged, they wept tears of joy. Davy said, "Someday you're going to be a very great lady, Clara." And there they are embracing because he's walking at last.